Hey everyone, it's Ryder from Skip. It's Tuesday, September 28th. Nancy Pelosi yesterday announced they will vote on the $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill this Thursday. This is big news that they've separated it from the $3.5 trillion plan. I'll give a quick update. Plus, a possible government shutdown looms at the end of this week. Stocks are down after bond yields hit a 3-month high, and a quick SBA EIDL funding update. Thanks so much for tuning in. Be sure to hit the like button, and if you're new, join our community, hit subscribe, turn on the alerts. I'll keep today's video short. 2 PSAs before we get started. Number one, there are still tons of scammers and fraudsters in the comments of all of these YouTube videos, not just our channel, but other channels. Do not message people in the comment section if they leave their number, their Instagram, their WhatsApp. Do not message them. They're scammers. Every day we hear about more people getting tricked, so I just want to say it once more. You can always tell the official Skip channel because we have gray around our name, and all of our bookings go through our website, helloskip.com. Second, if you want help with funding for your small business, EIDL, other funding, we're opening up a few more spots today for tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. If you're interested, I'll leave the invite link in the description below. It's an invite link where you can skip folks on the waiting list and get a spot in the next few days, especially if you want to talk through EIDL, reconsideration, increases, 2.0. Okay, Pelosi announces vote on $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill. This vote is scheduled for Thursday, hours before government funding is scheduled to lapse. So this is a big change. Remember, for months now, Nancy Pelosi has been saying she will only bring the infrastructure bill and the budget reconciliation to a vote at the same time, basically tying them together, the $1 trillion and the $3.5 trillion. Well, as I've reported on earlier this week, moderate Democrats Joe Manchin, Kristen Sinema are still pushing back on that $3.5 trillion bill. They think it's too much spending. This is money for education, including universal pre-K, free community college, Medicare changes, other healthcare changes, other social service changes, climate change initiatives, and more. Anyway, Republicans and those moderate Democrats think it's too expensive. So this is big. Pelosi decided that she'll split them apart. There'll be a vote on the $1 trillion infrastructure bill, which, by the way, has been ready for a vote for 2 to 3 months now. Pelosi had committed to holding a vote on the legislation by Monday. That was September 27th, after a group of centrist Democrats threatened to vote against a budget blueprint needed to push through the party's signature $3.5 trillion social policy and climate change bill unless they were promised a quick vote on the infrastructure measure. So those are the two centrist Democrats I'm mainly talking about, Manchin and Sinema. A key question here is whether progressive Democrats will go ahead and vote for the infrastructure bill. Here's what's in the infrastructure bill: $110 billion for roads, bridges, and major infrastructure projects, $39 billion to modernize public transit, $65 billion to upgrade broadband, $17 billion in port infrastructure, $25 billion in airports, $7.5 billion for zero and low emission buses and ferries, $65 billion to rebuild the electric grid, $21 billion to clean up Superfund and brownfield sites. So how is Congress going to pay for this bill? The bottom line is that the legislation would directly add roughly $350 billion to the deficit when taking into account $90 billion of spending in new contract authority. So what's missing from this bill is $400 billion to bolster caregiving for aging and disabled Americans. This is what Biden had proposed earlier on in these negotiations. Now, a lot of those social programs are lumped into the $3.5 trillion budget reconciliation. So if this vote proceeds, it looks like it will. Moderate Democrats remain confident that enough Republicans would support the infrastructure bill to allow it to clear the House, then go to Mr. Biden's desk for his signature to be signed into law. That'd be a huge win. So that may happen as early as the end of this week. Meanwhile, yesterday, GOP senators blocked Democratic bill to fund government and suspend debt ceiling. Democrats did want to vote on the $3.5 trillion budget reconciliation ahead of October 1st. That's the date for the government shutdown if new spending isn't approved. So yesterday, while lawmakers in both parties negotiated the short-term government funding, Republicans voted against the procedural motion in a bid to force Democrats to address the debt limit themselves. With 48 in favor and 50 opposed, the legislation fell short of the 60 votes required to advance in the evenly split chamber. So this is why Pelosi is separating the infrastructure vote from the budget vote. Meanwhile, in stocks, futures fall as bond yields hit 3-month high. Tech stocks especially are down, pulling the S&P 500 lower, while bond yields rally on inflation concerns. Here's NASDAQ and the S&P 500 dipping as we close out September, directly a result of U.S. government bond yields hitting their highest level in 3 months. Stock futures sat sagged as investors rotated out of interest rates sensitive technology stocks. We've seen this for a few weeks now, basically investors getting out of some of those more sensitive stocks, more risky stocks, and speculative assets like crypto to reshuffle their money as they see the end of these easy money policies coming. They see the risks of inflation. In the SBA world, hundreds of thousands of small businesses across the U.S. are still waiting for EIDL loans, first-time loans, increases, reconsiderations. As of the moment, the SBA and its loan officers are still reviewing EIDL loans, $500,000 and below. In a week and a half from now, they will start to review the EIDL loan increases above $500,000. The new EIDL rules are in effect. I did an in-depth video on that a couple days ago. I'll link to it above. Would love to hear in the comments how you're doing, where you're at in the process. We're going to put up a poll today. Would also love to hear what you think about the decoupling of the infrastructure bill and the budget resolution. Pelosi had been firm on that for a long time to bring them both for a vote at the same time. Now it looks like infrastructure is going to go first. We don't know what's going to happen with the social program, when it will be voted on, if it is, what the final amount might be. But it looks like infrastructure will proceed unless progressive Democrats try to block it. Tell us what you think in the comments. And if you want to support what we're doing, our entire team tries to monitor the comments so you can have a discussion and eliminate the spammers. On an average video, we have around 500 spam comments that we have to go through and delete. They've tried everything. Thank you to so many of you who've been flagging and deleting comments as well. But if you want to support our effort, give this video a like, subscribe, and turn on alerts. And if you want one-on-one help with your funding situation, use the invite link below. You can skip the waiting list. Also, if we've helped you with funding throughout the past 18 months through these videos, through our app or website, we'd love to hear as well. There's a link for that. You can answer 3 quick questions. We'd love to hear from you. Most importantly, stay well, stay healthy, and I'll see you tomorrow.